Hey, welcome back. In this video, we're going to look more at the impact of fixed and growth mindsets and the impact they have on leadership and in business environments. But again, even if you're not a CEO, a manager, business leader, any of those, this knowledge and these concepts are going to be beneficial for you. So just as we looked at naturals in sports, there's many who believe that there are naturals in business as well. And just like in sports, we hear big names like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods. Well, in business, we also hear the names like Jack Welch and Lou Gerstner. So many companies put so much emphasis and focus on talent that it puts the employees in a position of having to always measure up and forces them to look and act extraordinarily talented. So basically, it forces them into a fixed mindset. In turn, this fixed mindset makes flaws intolerable. It makes cases such as Enron, for example, that we've seen how this creates big problems. When so much focus and value is put on talent and results, the best interests of the company or its stakeholders aren't the focus. So rather than lose face, we see lying, cheating, and cover-ups, which many times has been the downfall of the company. Avoiding this begins with the leader in the organization. In the book Good to Great, Jim Collins looks at the comparable companies of what makes some companies great while some of their comparable companies fail. One key factor that he notes was that a lot of the credit was the leader in the company. He said that great companies didn't have the larger-than-life charismatic leaders with big egos. They had the humble leaders who asked questions and were willing to confront the brutal truth. They were the ones that could look failure in the face and still have faith that they could succeed in the end. These were the leaders with a growth mindset. They weren't constantly trying to prove that they were better than others. That's something in the fixed mindset that is always happening. Instead, they were constantly trying to improve. In contrast, many of the companies that were not great had fixed mindset leaders who were more focused on themselves and their own legacies rather than the good of the company. When leaders feel they're inherently better than others, they may start to believe that the needs or feelings of the lesser people can be ignored. If you recall when we talked about athletes with a fixed mindset, many of them said that they have a need to show their superiority over the others and show that they are better than the others. The same thing happens with leaders in business. But one of the big differences, these bosses have the power to make their subordinates worse off. And often when they do, they feel good about it. They feel good about what they've done and they'll continue to do it. But often the victims are the most competent people in the company because these are the ones who pose the greatest threat to the fixed mindset boss. I mentioned Jack Welch earlier. There are many stories of growth mindset leaders like him that transform companies. One of the ways that they did it was that they eliminated fixed mindset thinking in their companies. They put their effort into creating a culture of growth and teamwork. As growth-minded leaders, they believe that human potential can be developed. With many fixed-minded leaders, everything's about them. It's the me, me, me. The growth-minded leaders focus more on we or us. You can see this in many of the different books. Many of these great leaders, Jack Welch, Lee Iacocca, they've all written books or have books written about them too. We can learn a lot about the individuals just in the words they use in their books. When you read Lee Iacocca's book, you get a sense of me, me, me. His accomplishments were designed to feature his own greatness. When you read Jack Welch's books, there's more we and praise for his team. Just like we talked about in previous videos, the wrong kind of praise can lead kids down a path of entitlement, dependence, and fragility. While the right kind of feedback, on the other hand, or the right kind of praise, may lead them down a path of hard work and more effort. Well, research has shown that the same thing happens with adults when they receive feedback. So how should your feedback sound or look if you're trying to develop employees to have a growth mindset? Well, first off, instead of giving awards for the smartest ideas or praising them for brilliant performance, give them praise for taking initiative, for seeing difficult tasks through to the end, for struggling with something and then learning something new from it, for being able to have setbacks and keep going, and for being open to constructive feedback and then acting on it. But what about when it comes to training within your company? Well, managers or leaders with a fixed mindset, they don't believe in personal change. So these leaders look for existing talent to fill important roles. They do very little to develop or coach their employees because they don't believe it's going to be a good investment. But those with a growth mindset, yes, they appreciate talent, but it's just a starting point. These leaders are more committed to their own and their employees' personal development. They give more coaching and recognize improvement more often. They're also more open to feedback from their employees. As a leader puts more effort and focus into it, they can teach and create a growth mindset in their company and among their teams. They need to train leaders and managers and employees to believe in growth. They need to create a growth mindset environment in which people can thrive. They can do this by presenting skills as learnable, by conveying that the organization values learning and perseverance, not just talent. Feedback needs to be given in a way that promotes learning and future success, and that ensures that managers are viewed as support and resources for learning, and not be afraid to go to them for those purposes. So remember, your mindset can change. If you or your company has been operating in a fixed mindset, start doing the things today that can begin to make that change. There was even a time in Jack Welch's career that he had a fixed mindset, but he's changed and developed a growth mindset, and he did some amazing things for himself, but also at General Electric and for all of its stakeholders. So as we look at the growth and fixed mindset, especially from a leadership standpoint, this is an opportunity to change for yourself that's going to make a big difference within your company or wherever you are, but it also is an opportunity to make that change for your employees by the way you talk to them, by the resources you give them. All these different things that you can offer are going to make your employees have a shift as well. And again, it's the ability to know these things. Just knowing about them is the first start to change. So this is incredible stuff. I hope throughout these videos you've really got to understand what a growth mindset is, what a fixed mindset is, and what the value of each are. And also, I've talked about it a number of times, we're not always in a growth mindset. We're not always in a fixed mindset. And different areas of our lives are going to be different. But when we really look at things, we're going to find a lot more success when we can develop a growth mindset, when we can be open to learning, when we can learn from our failures and our mistakes, rather than being so rigid that it's defining us who we are. But thanks for being with us. We'll continue on in the next video, but I'm excited to continue this. And now with the understanding of what the growth mindset is, what a fixed mindset is, we'll start combining more of the things together. And the whole purpose of this is to help you develop the mindset and understand your own potential. This is going to help you to achieve all your goals and be successful. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.